Let's talk about date night in general today. And I have an alarming statistic to share with you a little bit later, but the $1,000,000 question of the day is, what happened to date night? Or better yet, for my initial question earlier, when did date night go out of style? And if your response to the question above was, hello, 20 years ago at least, I want to challenge you to reconsider. If you asked yourself, wait, who said date night went out of style? I am kind of relieved. And if you cringed as you saw the question, let me tell you that you are in the right place. Quick side note before we go on, I need to say this. If you don't like the word date night, and I know some of you don't because you tell me you don't, for a variety of reasons, let's not get stuck on what you call it. Call it what you want. Make up your own word for all I care. The only thing that I do care about is this. And it's that you practice some form of date night in your marriage. And when I use that term, here's what I'm referring to. Time alone together. One-on-one time with the person you walked down the aisle with while someone else introduced you as the newest Mr. and Mrs. something or other. Face-to-face interactions. The funny thing is, we talk about spending one-on-one time with just about everyone else in our lives. And if you've noticed this too, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Our kids, our BFF, our elderly neighbor friend, nieces, nephews, our parents, including our pets almost. But we forget where it all started. That it started with this relationship you had with your spouse. Let me tell you a story. I went to a family reunion some years back and overheard a conversation about the grandparents, one of which had just passed. A lot was said about the kind of people they were, what they did for their kids and grandchildren, setting them up for success, right? Creating a legacy to last for years to come. Many of the children in the family had solid memories of them from different angles, but when it came to their marriage, they remembered that they would do this one thing. Walk down the dirt road to the lake about half a mile away and get an ice cream cone. They did it every Sunday night. Just the two of them, like clockwork. They would leave what they were doing, they would clean up after dinner, and go on their ice cream run. Everyone else was uninvited. This is what I'm talking about. Now, a question for you. Do you remember your last date night? Do I dare even ask? When was the last time that you had date night with your spouse? In my practice, I periodically ask this question of all of my couples, and I get a whole variety of responses. Sometimes it's been months, years even. Sometimes they can't even remember, literally. All they remember is that they went on a date night when their kids were little. And now those kids are almost in high school or college already, picking out their own outfits and going to the mall with their friends. For everyone who ever pushed back against this, here's something that I want you to hear. Remember what I said earlier about that statistic I wanted to share? This is from 2023. According to a report from the National Marriage Project, one that surveyed married couples in the US about their dating frequency, here's what they found. 52%, hear that again, 52%, over half of all the couples they surveyed reported never or rarely going out on dates. Now, here's what I want you to keep in mind or point out or notice. That is roughly, still unfortunately, the same number of marriages in the US that end up in divorce. You think there might be a correlation? 52%. I'm convinced that there is. 52% never or rarely going out on dates. Are you too one of those couples? Now, I know a lot of you will come up with all sorts of excuses. It's the beginning of the school year, and it's busy as all get out, right? It's the summertime, and you only get to see family on family reunions if it's in July or August. And I'll even give it to you. Like, some of them are valid points. You can only go camping when the weather is nice. I get it. The boat will be in the garage the rest of the year. And still, as you're looking ahead at what your summer holds or what your kids are doing throughout the rest of the year, making adjustments left and right to your work schedules and all that, or coming up with new rules so that the rest of the year can go well, this is the perfect time to do this. And from where I am sitting, really any time is the perfect time to do this. Because there's no time like the present to get back into the habit of seeing each other again. You two make an agreement on the frequency. That's one. Make an agreement on who plans which date. Taking turns is a totally fine arrangement. It doesn't have to be super elaborate or complicated. Like, that seems to work well for most couples. For most people. Or dividing it by month, right? You take 1 month, your spouse takes the next one. Talk about options for a sitter if you need one. Reach out to them. I tell people, contact several of them right away and see if they can commit to something right off the bat. Make it a non-negotiable part of your schedule and your life. When I was doing my certification training with Tara Real over a decade ago now, this thing still rings in my ears. Something he said. He used to remind all of us who were couple specialists, right? All the time when he said something to the effect of 3 times a year, his birthday, her birthday, and the anniversary, that's not going to cut it. For you two to spend time together, like, that's not enough. So figure out something that works. Every week, every other week, once a month to start even, anything, but do it. Plan for it. And this is the thing, you have to make a plan, because you know how the saying goes, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Or as one business guru said, that's also forever etched on my brain, the 3P rule. Have you ever heard this one? Piss poor planning results in piss poor performance and results. So there, pardon my French. Once you plan it, it's simple. Then you honor it. So when someone calls and invites you over to a bond party, bond party, what's a bond party? What I meant to say was a bonfire or a wine party. You will be able to look at your schedule, right, and honestly say, thank you, but we already made plans or we're busy that night. While a lot of other things can, meaning you can hire them out. You cannot hire someone to do this for you. Have you ever heard anyone say this? Date night can make or break a marriage? That may sound a little harsh, but I'm okay with that. Like, harsh or not, that is exactly what I mean, and I stand by that 100%. Time together with your spouse has the potential to make or break your marriage. I have seen it. I have seen evidence to support this claim. So if you don't want to become a stranger in your own home, going on date nights with your spouse, if you don't want, like, go on them is what I mean. If you don't want to end up with a roommate situation, living next to each other but not with each other, make time for your spouse and you. If you don't want to end up in that place where you no longer know what to say to one another other than the minimum necessary to coordinate your kids' schedules, have this conversation this week. And I mean this week. Take it from me. If you don't make your marriage a priority, someone or something else will. Someone or something else will come in and fill that spot, whether you like it or not. Guaranteed. So, make sure you figure out a way to walk down the road, so to speak, and do your version of getting your ice cream cone. Vanilla, chocolate, you choose. If it hasn't come through, date night did by no means go out of style. If anything, if you ask me, of all the times that it needed to be in style, it is now. Now, if you're loving the idea of date night, if you're feeling sort of like, I'm feeling a little convicted even here, totally convinced, like we're on board, let's do it, but you don't know where to start or what you would even do because it has been so long, I do have a couple videos to help you with that. Help you generate great date night ideas and make your time together a great time. I'll post them here and I'll see you there.